Hi, back again. This is Neil's on Dynasty. Please like, share, and subscribe. Woo! Psychological. Woo! You will subscribe. Be kind, helpful, and grateful. It's better than being a jerk. And buy some silver and some platinum and look into crystallized osmium as far as if you can see the opportunity in crystallized osmium. If you don't, that's cool. You'll see it later. But that's not what this is about. It never is. It's always about something else. Just a little history that most people don't know that I'm quite intrigued with. And I figure I'd bring my 30 or so followers that would watch this. And here we go. It is from this gentleman here, whoever the hell he is. It's called Operation Paperclip. Have you ever heard of it? It was put out about 3 hours ago. He's already got about damn near 100,000 views. This is about, well, I know about this stuff. It's not new to me. Obviously, you say, Neil, of course Neil knows about this. But it also, because I know about this stuff, it should enlighten you a little bit to my interest in buying land around that area. Huntsville's cool. A little progressive, but cool.
With any of this, he was in that bunker right there. This is the test site itself in front of us.
They put us in this encampment in the desert.
Do you know about Operation Paperclip?
The Nazis, the scientists, Werner von Braun. Oh yeah, fully aware. I don't think enough people know that story.
He showed me on a globe. I have the globe at home. He took his finger and he said that was a future target set. New York City, Philadelphia, and Washington, D.C.
That was taken at a NASA event. This is my mother, this is my father, and this is Dr. von Braun.
There's a lot of money in Huntsville.
Yes.
Look at these places. They're huge.
Beautiful
Mars
houses.
Project.
Yeah, this is his thesis on the flight to Mars.
I was just transported into another world for a little bit. That's what that felt like.
Absolutely.
Huntsville is truly beautiful. Has some gorgeous houses. Good
Morning,
history.
guys. This is not your stereotypical Deep South Alabama story.
Huntsville.
This is the story of Huntsville, a place where the U.S. government secretly recruited 1,600 German scientists, engineers, technicians to help develop this city from a once small sort of provincial place into a hub of aerospace, technology, and defense. So it's
Alabama, the hub of technology, aerospace, and defense. Wow.
today we're meeting up with a man who's the offspring from one of these original German families. He said, Peter, I can bring you into the wild stories and the history of what built Huntsville and why it is the way it is today. Let's do this.
If you see that structure in the distance, that is the Saturn V engine test stand, where the Saturn V...
Oh, that structure way out there?
Yes.
Okay.
For the Saturn V engines for the moon mission in the 1960s. And that structure is being restored and is in use by Blue Origin, Jeff Bezos, for the construction of their new rocket engine, which they are testing there now.
And so 1,600 German scientists, engineers.
125.
Okay, why am I reading 1,600 everywhere?
I don't know. The original assembly of German engineers and scientists numbered 125. That was the initial core group that came at the beginning.
And that was your grandfather?
Yes, he was a part of that team. They were essentially captured. They surrendered to the U.S. forces.
So at that time, it was the Americans and the Soviets trying to grab all the scientists from Germany, right?
Absolutely. The United States did not have that technology. As it was explained to me by my grandfather, there were future developments that were underway that have really never been released to public knowledge, and that was a prime consideration for the basically the capture of the German team members, the rocket team members, so the U.S. could capitalize on their research and plans.
So their choice was either you go with the Americans or go with the Soviets.
Well, a large number of the team were captured by the Soviets, and that was the foundation of the Soviet space program. So basically, you had Germans working on weapon systems against their co-worker Germans from Germany. Except I understand the Russians, my understanding is that they observed, they recorded and documented all the knowledge they could glean from those Germans that they had in their possession, they had captured. And then at some point, they just released them back to war, demolish Germany because they wanted their own space program.
Okay.
And the reason that we probably ended up beating them in the space race, okay, was because they did release their German team members, and we kept ours here in the United States and let them go to full development for the Saturn V missile to the moon.
Do you think they were like your grandparents were being monitored? Like there was a lot of oversight, seeing how they lived, hoping, making sure they weren't double agents working for the Nazis at that time, or Germany was so smashed it was like not even a consideration.
Well, I mean, once they were captured, they were vetted by the OSS,
Okay.
which is the Office of Strategic Services at the time, and that's the precursor agency to the Central Intelligence Agency. And so they were vetted, whether or not those individuals, the paperclip team members, represented any type of future risk to the United States. So they had to pass the vetting exercise.
Okay. So your grandfather was an engineer.
That's correct.
Okay. So he was an engineer before the Nazi
Yes.
government came into
Yes.
power.
A civilian.
Okay. So when you're in that position, you have no choice, right? You gotta be with whatever the Nazi government says, or what's going to happen, or how did that work? Do you know?
Well, he told me that the country was in shambles before the war, and I asked him very hard questions because I am a retired U.S. Army officer, and I was in the programs at the time, young officer, lieutenant, and I asked him what it was like and how did this happen.
Right.
And he explained, his perspective. You understand, back in those days, that there is no media. Okay, it's all state controlled.
I love the fact that gentleman said he explained his perspective, because perspective is everything.
Media by radio only in a country like that. So the basic German only knows what they're told via the media that they have, the outlet, which is radio and newspapers.
Right.
They were trying to rebuild their economy, but then of course there's always conflict, and he was offered employment into that.
Anyhow, there's a whole bunch of shit going on in Alabama. And if you do research as a PM lover, you'll find the Mississippi River, a big river that cuts through America. Well, east of the Mississippi, Alabama's the gold capital of America. East of the Mississippi. For all of America, obviously Nevada, California. But east of the Mississippi, Alabama's the gold capital of America. Plus, their aerospace and defense development. There's so many technologies that aren't going to be messed with. And quite frankly, the houses are gorgeous in that area. But anyhow, I just wanted to bring you a little bit. For those of you that watch this and know me, I keep talking about Alabama. And you're wondering, Neil, why? Well, I'm not stupid. Throughout this whole economic thing that's been going on with the world, Huntsville's still growing. Just saying. You guys have a nice night.